The following video outlines the husbandry of fish during early rearing, best management practice. The steps outlined in this video have been taken from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry Fish Culture Technical Bulletin and serves as only a guide to fish culturists for the husbandry of fish during early rearing. This video had been made courtesy of the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry Community Hatchery Program. For more information on the Community Hatchery Program, please visit www.communityhatcheries.com. For more detail on other fish culture procedures, specifically the one we focus on in this video, we encourage you to review Section 2.1 of the Community Hatchery Fish Culture Guide. This document is a valuable resource for all community hatchery volunteers by providing technical information, best management practices, as well as a tool for knowledge transfer among hatchery volunteers. The guide is organized into chapters that support the full life cycle of hatchery operations, from spawning and incubation to fish husbandry, health management, transportation, and stocking. To download the Community Hatchery Fish Culture Guide, visit the resources section of our webpage at www.communityhatcheries.com/resources. Husbandry of fish during early rearing. The definitions of early and advanced rearing are based on developmental stages of the fish, but are often confused due to the use of these names for specific areas of the fish hatchery. Early rearing is defined as the phase of development following hatching during which the fry feed from the yolk sac, and includes a transition to external feed. Advanced rearing is defined as the phase following the switch from the yolk sac to external feed phase, after swim up and first feeding. Fish at all stages of development tend to have similar needs in regards to environmental and physical conditions, so the blurring of these definitions does not have a great effect on the overall care of the fish in the fish culture station. Hatching and the Sac Fry Stage. Eggs can be left in the incubator units to hatch. The main concerns with any type of incubator are to remove dead fry and eggshells to prevent fungal buildup and maintain adequate water flow to prevent smothering. Once the eggs hatch, the fry are termed sac fry because they have an external yolk sac still attached. This is used for food until their digestive systems are developed enough to handle external feed. The fry can be transferred to the early rearing units at one of two times: several days to a week after hatching, when most of the yolk sac is absorbed, directly through troughs, or 2 or 3 days pre-hatch into baskets. After eye-up eggs are transferred to the hatching baskets, which sit inside the hatching troughs, transfers should not occur during the actual hatching time, because this will cause a decrease in survival rate of the fry. Some factors to consider when deciding when to transfer the fry include the following: the type and size of incubators available, water quality, the type and size of early rearing units available, and the size of the lot of fish. The transfer should occur so the fry are offered the best care possible. Whether the transfer occurs before or after hatching, it is important to set up the early rearing units a few days before the transfer. Ensure that the sandpipes and screens are installed and functioning properly. Sac fry are extremely fragile and easily damaged, so handling should be reduced to a minimum. Tips for the proper care of sac fry. Disinfected feathers, fine mesh discs, and soft mesh scoops can be used to handle fry. Feathers should be used to disperse clusters of fry to reduce smothering. High water quality with a dissolved oxygen content greater than 6 parts per million and total gas pressure not exceeding 100% saturation should be provided. Water flow should be set so that metabolic wastes are removed, but the fry are not required to expend energy fighting against the flow of the water. Exposure to light should be reduced as much as possible. Incandescent lights are preferred. Accumulated eggshells, debris, and algae should be removed from screens on a daily basis, with the least amount of disturbance to the fry. Dead, morbid, and abnormal fry should be removed, counted and recorded, and records should also be kept for water temperature, water volume, and water flow. Swim up and first feeding. The most critical stage in the rearing of all fish species is the initial feeding. In salmonids, this occurs as soon as the fry start to swim up. Once the yolk sac is almost absorbed, fry begin to be more active, swimming towards the surface of the water. At this stage, fry can start to be exposed to soft lighting. The process of transferring fry from feeding on the yolk sac to external feed requires patience to reduce losses. Feeding should be done by hand so the proper control over the amount given to the fry can be exercised. It is important to feed the fry, not the trough, spreading feed only over the areas where the fry are located. In the early stages, it is not only important that the proper amount of feed is given to the fry, but also that the highest quality feed is provided. Proper feeds and feeding techniques will result in a uniform size fish in all units. Feeding a few times a day should begin prior to the complete absorption of the yolk sac to begin slowly introducing the fry to external food sources. A good guideline to follow is to begin the introduction when approximately 50 to 60% of the fry are swimming up. When first introducing feed to the fry, it is advisable to distribute slightly more feed than is eaten. This will ensure that fry have an opportunity to sample the feed, but limits excess feed accumulated on the bottom of the rearing unit. Once 90% of the fry have swum up, a feeding schedule should be implemented, with fry being fed frequently throughout the day. When fry begin to show little feeding response, stop feeding. Wastage should always be avoided, as it decreases water quality and may cause gill damage. When it is evident that the majority of the fry are feeding, automatic feeders can be used to extend the hours of feeding, distributing small amounts of feed 5 or more times per hour. More frequent feeding results in more efficient feed utilization and greater uniformity in fish size. The Community Hatchery Program is a partnership between the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry and the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters. For more information, visit our webpage at www.communityhatcheries.com.